how they look so graceful on the water, but they're pedaling to save their life underneath. And that's depression, you know? They fight.
The world always saw Marie Osmond as strong, smiling, and calm on stage. She was the kind of star people believed could never break. But everything changed during a live TV moment when something unexpected happened. In just a few seconds, her emotions took over, and the image people had of her began to fall apart. Her voice started to shake, her eyes filled with tears, and she could not hide how she felt anymore. Was it just sadness coming out? Or was it pain she had carried for many years finally breaking free? Join us in this video as we reveal the details. Marie Osmond breaks in tears on live TV. Marie Osmond entered the entertainment world at a very young age. While many children her age were learning simple things in school and spending time with friends, she was already performing in front of crowds. She started working when she was only 3 years old. From that point, her life became very different from the lives of most children. Her family believed in hard work and discipline. Music, singing, dancing, and performing became a major part of everyday life. The children in the family were expected to learn instruments and practice often. There was little room for mistakes because success had become important for the family. Growing up in entertainment gave Marie fame early, but it also took away parts of childhood many people enjoy. She later spoke about fear being a normal part of growing up. There was pressure to perform well all the time. There was pressure to look perfect. There was pressure to make people happy. Even as a child, she learned that work came first. As she grew older, the pressure became heavier. Working in entertainment was not always safe or kind. During one filming project overseas, she found herself in a dangerous situation after a boat accident. Even after being frightened, tired, and physically affected, work still continued. Situations like this made her feel more like a product than a young person. She learned early that entertainment could be demanding and sometimes cruel. As she moved into her teenage years, a new kind of pressure appeared. People began focusing on her appearance. Working on television meant standing in front of cameras every day, while millions of people watched. She was compared to famous actresses, singers, and models. These comparisons hurt her confidence. Instead of feeling proud of success, she often felt insecure. Weight became one of the biggest struggles of her young life. Harsh comments about her body made her believe she was not thin enough. These words stayed in her mind for years. She developed unhealthy eating habits because she wanted to fit the image others expected. Sometimes the pressure became so strong that it affected her health and energy. Even after becoming successful, body image problems followed her into adulthood. She also struggled with confidence when working beside famous celebrities. Standing next to people considered beautiful by the public made her question herself. Instead of feeling like a star, she often felt out of place. Even while hosting successful television shows and becoming a household name, she sometimes believed she did not belong. Behind the cameras, there were also painful personal experiences. She later revealed that she survived mistreatment during childhood. These experiences left emotional wounds that stayed with her for many years. The people involved were adults who had been trusted. Because of fear and threats, speaking about what happened became difficult. The emotional effects stayed with her long after childhood ended. Financial struggles also became part of the story. Even with success and popularity, money problems appeared because of poor financial decisions around the family business. Fame did not automatically create security. By the time early success slowed down, financial worries had already become serious. Through all these struggles, one thing became clear. The life people saw on television was very different from the life happening behind closed doors. Fame brought applause and success, but it also brought pressure, self-doubt, and emotional pain that followed her for years. Some have speculated that Marie Osmond teared up on live TV while revealing her struggles because revisiting years of trauma, loss, and personal pain brought back difficult emotions. Many believe the moment showed how deeply those experiences still affected her. After surviving years of pressure, criticism, and emotional pain during childhood, could Marie Osmond continue pushing forward when life brought even harder challenges? Let's find out. Loss, mental health, family pain, and learning to keep going. As Marie Osmond grew older, the challenges in her life changed, but they did not disappear. The pressure of entertainment continued, but family struggles, mental health battles, and personal losses became even bigger parts of her story. One of the hardest periods of her life came after becoming a mother. After childbirth, she struggled with postpartum depression. At a time when people expected happiness, she instead faced sadness, hopelessness, and emotional pain. Everyday activities became difficult. There were moments when simple tasks felt too heavy. She described feeling disconnected from people around her and struggling with emotions she could not easily control. During those difficult periods, she sometimes isolated herself. Depression affected relationships, family life, and how she saw herself. At the time, many people did not openly discuss postpartum depression. By speaking publicly, she helped others understand that mental health struggles can happen to anyone, including successful people. She wanted women to understand that asking for help should never bring shame. Mental health struggles became even harder after one of the most painful losses a parent can experience. In 2010, her son Michael tragically passed away at only 18 years old. Losing a child changed her life forever. She later spoke about bullying and how deeply it affected him. The pain of losing him never truly disappeared. She explained that grief does not simply end with time. Some days become easier, while other days bring the pain back strongly. After his funeral, she returned to work quickly. Many people criticized her decision. Some believed she returned too fast. But she explained that she wanted to show her family that life continues even after tragedy. It was not about forgetting pain. It was about surviving it. Family remained important throughout these difficult years. When her daughter came out as gay, Marie publicly supported her. She spoke openly about wanting her daughter to live happily and safely. Her support remained strong even when criticism came from different places, including people close to the family. Physical struggles also continued. During the final period of her long-running Las Vegas performances, injuries became another challenge. She suffered physical pain, but still continued performing. Years of dancing, traveling, and performing had placed stress on the body. At the same time, her family faced repeated tragedy. Over the years, multiple relatives died from illness, accidents, violence, and unexpected events. Losing parents, nephews, extended family members, and younger relatives created wave after wave of grief. Each loss added another layer of sadness. Yet she continued speaking publicly about surviving pain and continuing forward. Looking at her life as a whole, Marie Osmond's story is not simply about fame. It is about pressure, survival, grief, motherhood, mental health, and resilience. She experienced mistreatment, criticism, loss, and emotional struggles while living much of her life in public view. Despite this, she continued building a career, raising a family, and speaking openly about subjects many people avoid. Her journey shows that success does not remove suffering. It also shows that people can continue moving forward even when life becomes extremely difficult. What really happened during the painful chapter that forced her to face unimaginable grief and the loss of her son? Let's learn more. Depression, grief, and the pain of losing a son. Marie Osmond spoke openly about one of the hardest times in her life while talking about depression, grief, and losing her son, Michael. She explained that for many years, there were parts of his story she kept private because the pain was too heavy. When she finally decided to speak about it, she wanted people to understand something important. Depression is not always easy to see. Many people suffer quietly while smiling in front of others. One memory that stayed close to her heart was Michael's nickname, Mallard. He got the nickname when he was a baby because of the way he looked. Later in life, the meaning became bigger for her. She explained that ducks look calm while floating on water, but underneath, their feet are moving fast just to stay afloat. To her, this looked like depression. A person may look fine outside while fighting battles nobody can see. She believed this picture described what her son lived through. Marie also spoke honestly about her own fight with depression. She said there were moments in her life when she had dark thoughts and believed people around her might be better off without her. Looking back, she understood those thoughts came from depression and not from reality. She explained that depression changes how people think. It can make someone believe things that are not true. It can make people feel alone even when they are surrounded by family and friends. She explained that getting older gave her more understanding during difficult moments. When she was older, she could stop herself and recognize that her mind was not thinking clearly. But she worried about young people because they may not have that same experience or understanding yet. She believed this made depression even more dangerous for teenagers and young adults. According to her, young people can sometimes believe painful feelings will last forever when they really do not. She also spoke about grief after losing Michael. She explained that such a loss creates a different kind of pain because families are left with questions they may never answer. She said one of the hardest things was learning that closure may never fully come. There are always questions. There are always thoughts about what could have changed. There are always moments that replay in the mind. She admitted that after losing her son, her first feeling was wanting to hide from the world. She wanted to disappear from daily life, stay away from people, and avoid facing reality. But she had other children who were also hurting deeply. She realized they needed her. Some of them wanted to avoid school, friends, and normal life because they were grieving too. Because of this, she decided to keep moving forward, even when she did not want to. Returning to work became part of that decision. She explained that going back was not because the pain disappeared. It was because she wanted her children to see that people can continue living even after terrible loss. One memory still stayed with her strongly. Shortly before Michael died, he called while she was preparing to go on stage in Las Vegas. She missed the call because she was already late. Later, she learned he had spoken to his sister instead. During that conversation, he ended by saying he loved her. When asked what she thought he wanted to tell her, Marie believed he probably wanted to say the same thing to her. This missed call became one of the memories that stayed with her the most. Even with all the sadness, Marie said she eventually found comfort in spiritual experiences. She described one moment between sleeping and waking where she believed she saw Michael together with her late mother. In that moment, she felt peace. She felt her son was safe. She woke up believing he was okay. Through sharing her story, Marie wanted people to understand something simple. Depression is real. Grief changes people forever. Loss never fully leaves. After years of hidden pain, silence, and difficult truths slowly coming to light, what was the early life and childhood that shaped everything that followed? Let's delve deeper. The silence she carried for decades, and the pain behind the smile. Marie Osmond spent most of her life being known as someone who smiled through difficult moments. People saw a singer, actress, television personality, and performer who spent decades entertaining audiences. They saw confidence, success, and happiness. But behind that public image was another story that stayed hidden for many years. One of the biggest things she explained was that silence can become heavy. Keeping painful experiences hidden did not make them disappear. Instead, the silence stayed with her for years and affected many parts of her life. Eventually, she reached a point where speaking felt more important than staying quiet. For much of her career, people believed they knew who Marie Osmond was. They saw someone cheerful and strong. She built a public image around kindness, family values, and entertainment. But she later explained that the public version of her life only showed one side. Behind the cameras and performances, there were experiences filled with fear, confusion, and emotional pain. One of the most difficult things she discussed was childhood mistreatment. She explained clearly that the people responsible were not strangers walking in from outside. They were people trusted by the family. They were adults who had built relationships and gained trust over time. This became one of the most important parts of her message because many people imagine danger coming from strangers. Her experience taught her something different. Sometimes the people who create damage are already close. They are already trusted. They already have access. This understanding changed how she viewed safety and trust. She explained that the people who hurt her gained trust slowly. They became part of normal life. Because they were trusted adults, nobody immediately saw danger. Looking back, she wanted parents and families to understand how important it is to pay attention to behavior and warning signs. Fear kept her silent for many years. She believed that speaking up could hurt people she loved. She believed terrible things might happen if she told the truth. Carrying that responsibility as a child created enormous emotional pressure. Instead of asking for help, she carried the burden alone. Years passed before she finally felt able to speak more openly. During those years, the emotional effects showed themselves in different ways. Confidence became difficult. Self-worth became difficult. Feeling safe became difficult. Even while smiling publicly, there were private struggles that many people never saw. Looking back, Marie's story shows how pain can stay hidden behind success for a very long time. Fame did not remove the hurt. Success did not erase the memories. Instead, she spent years learning how to live while carrying experiences that shaped much of her life. Her decision to finally speak openly changed her role from entertainer alone to someone trying to help others understand what silence can do and why difficult conversations matter. After seeing how her early life was shaped by pressure, performance, and hidden struggles, what deeper pain and life-changing experiences would later emerge as she grew older? Stay tuned for more. Healing, trust, survival, and turning pain into lessons. Childhood trauma did not stay only in Marie Osmond's past. She explained that the emotional damage followed her into adulthood and affected many parts of daily life. One of the biggest areas affected was how she saw herself. Growing up in entertainment already brought pressure about appearance, but emotional wounds made those pressures harder to manage. Over time, struggles with body image became serious. Criticism about weight and appearance added to feelings that already existed beneath the surface. She began developing unhealthy habits because she felt pressure to look a certain way. Public expectations and personal struggles mixed together and created long-lasting effects on confidence and self-esteem. Relationships also became complicated. Marie explained that mistreatment changed how she viewed closeness and trust. During younger years, fear shaped how she understood relationships, especially with men. The emotional damage created confusion and made trust more difficult. These feelings lasted for years before healing slowly began. Family became one of the biggest reasons healing became possible. Marie often spoke about the positive influence of her father and brothers. Growing up around men who treated her with care slowly changed the way she viewed trust. She explained that watching healthy relationships helped rebuild ideas the trauma had damaged. Healing did not happen quickly. It happened little by little. One important choice she made later in life was deciding not to focus publicly on naming the people responsible. Instead, she focused on explaining behavior patterns. She wanted people to understand how predators often work. They build trust first. They create situations where children become isolated. They use fear and emotional pressure to stay hidden. Many people only saw success, but behind the scenes, she was managing grief, trauma, and emotional exhaustion. Continuing to work did not mean life became easy. It meant she kept moving while carrying difficult experiences. Over time, her message changed from simply sharing personal stories to encouraging others. She wanted survivors to understand they were not alone. She wanted parents to understand that trust should never replace awareness. She wanted people struggling silently to know they could speak. Her life became an example that healing does not always happen quickly. Sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it takes decades. Looking at her journey as a whole, Marie Osmond's story became larger than entertainment. It became a story about survival. It became a story about rebuilding trust after betrayal. It became a story about learning that silence protects pain, while honesty creates understanding. Even after decades of carrying difficult memories, she eventually chose openness over fear and used her experiences to teach others what she learned the hard way. What happened in Marie Osmond's early years that pushed her from childhood fame into a life filled with pressure, danger, and difficult choices? Let's take a closer look. A life of early trauma, industry pressure, and a quiet search for peace. Marie Osmond's early life was full of painful and dangerous experiences connected to her work in entertainment at a very young age. When she was about 11 years old, she was involved in a filming trip in Japan. During this trip, the boat she was on had a serious accident in shark-filled waters. She had to swim for her life before she was rescued. After this frightening event, she was still made to continue working. She also suffered very bad sunburn that made her skin blister and hurt badly. Later, when she was around 16 years old, she went through another serious accident. She was driving a car with her mother sitting beside her when she suddenly blacked out. The car crash was very strong. The steering wheel bent because of the impact. Marie nearly lost her eye in the crash. Her mother was also badly injured. She was thrown through the windshield and suffered collapsed lungs. Doctors were not sure she would survive the night. These events show a very hard and painful teenage life filled with fear, injury, and shock, all while she was still growing up and trying to work in show business at the same time. Marie also had to deal with a very hard-working life in the entertainment industry when she was young. She worked on a very popular television show with her brother. The work was very heavy and stressful for a teenager. She sometimes worked very long hours, up to 17 or 18 hours in one day, and worked almost every day of the week. She also had to learn and remember a very large amount of script in a very short time. She was expected to memorize hundreds of pages of lines in only a few days. This kind of pressure was very difficult for someone her age. She was also judged very harshly about her body. Even though she was very thin, she was told she was too fat by people in charge of the show. This kind of talk made her feel ashamed and stressed. Because of this, she started to control her food in a very strict way, just to meet the expectations of others. She also felt small and not good enough when she saw other famous women around her. All of this created a very stressful and painful working environment for her during her teenage years. In her later life, Marie Osmond made big changes in her career. After many years of performing in Las Vegas with her brother, she left that stage show in 2019. She had performed for many years and done many shows, but she became tired and wanted a different life. After leaving, she joined a daytime television program as a co-host. At first, this looked like a good new step in her career. However, there were problems behind the scenes, and she left the show in 2020. After this, she did not return to high-pressure television work. Instead, she chose a calmer path. She stopped doing big Las Vegas shows and started performing with orchestras. She also released a classical music album in 2021. What moment finally revealed the deeper reality of her life and the pain she had been carrying for so long? Keep watching for more. The letter, the pain, and the life that looked strong but was not. For a long time, she was seen as a happy performer, someone who smiled, sang, acted, and stayed strong in front of millions of people. She worked for many years with her brother in a very famous stage partnership. They performed together for a long time, including many years on big stages in Las Vegas. To the public, they looked like a perfect team. They sang together, worked together, and shared a long career that people admired. But behind that long partnership, there was pressure, tiredness, and emotional weight that was not always seen. Over time, the constant performing became very heavy. The long hours, the travel, the stage shows, and the need to always appear perfect began to affect her body and mind. She dealt with physical pain and deep tiredness, but she still kept going. She often continued working even when she was not feeling well. Many people around her did not fully understand how much she was struggling because she still smiled on stage and gave strong performances. But inside, she was dealing with exhaustion that grew stronger with time. There were also moments when emotional pain came out in public. On one live television moment, she broke down while talking about personal loss and grief. At first, she tried to stay calm, but her voice cracked and she began to cry. She could not continue speaking for a moment. People watching saw a sudden emotional breakdown. Later, it was understood that this moment showed deeper pain that had been building inside her for a long time. It was not just about one memory. It was about many years of holding emotions inside without letting them out. Her life was also shaped by strong public expectations and faith-based pressure. She grew up with strict values and later became a public figure expected to represent a perfect image. She felt pressure to always behave well, always look strong, and always be an example for others. This made it hard for her to show weakness or speak about personal struggles. She felt like she had to live up to an image that did not allow mistakes or emotional openness. This pressure built slowly over many years and added to her stress. At the same time, she faced pressure about her appearance. Her weight and body were often discussed in public. She was judged and criticized, and she also faced pressure from within the entertainment world. This made her feel like she was never enough no matter what she did. She tried different ways to manage her image, but deep inside, she still felt pain from constant judgment. Even when she appeared confident, she was often dealing with insecurity. One of the most important things later revealed through her personal words was that much of her strength in public was actually masking. She learned how to smile even when she was hurting. She learned how to perform even when she was tired. She learned how to hide emotions so that the show could continue. Over time, this became a habit that helped her survive. But it also meant that many people never saw how much she was struggling inside. After understanding the emotional weight, pressure, and hidden struggles behind her public life, how did she eventually begin to step back and rediscover who she truly was beyond the stage? Let's find out. Realization, family bonds, withdrawal, and finding her true self. As time passed, the entertainer began to understand her life in a deeper way. A personal letter later became an important moment that helped others see her hidden pain more clearly. In this letter, she shared feelings she had carried for many years. It showed emotional struggles, exhaustion, and a desire to finally stop pretending everything was fine. This made her close family member realize that he had not fully understood how much she had been going through. Their long shared career made them very close as performers. They worked together for many years and shared stages, tours, and public appearances. Because of this, people thought they knew each other very well. But over time, it became clear that being together in work did not always mean fully understanding each other's inner feelings. Much of their communication was about work, performance, and public life. Deep emotional struggles were often not spoken about directly. Through the letter and later reflection, it became clear that she had been hiding her true emotional condition for a long time. Even while working closely with her family, she kept many feelings inside. She did not want to burden others or appear weak. This led to a long period where she carried emotional weight alone. The realization of this made her family members see her in a new way. He understood that she had been surviving, not just performing. In later years, she slowly began to step back from constant public performance. She reduced appearances and became more selective about work. This was not sudden, but happened step by step. It showed that she needed space to rest, heal, and focus on herself. For someone who had spent most of her life in the spotlight, this change was very important. It showed a shift from always pleasing the public to finally listening to her own needs. Through this journey, she also began to understand her identity beyond performance. For many years, she was known mainly as a stage personality, but underneath that, she was a person with feelings, pain, strength, and vulnerability. The realization grew that her true self had been hidden behind her public image for a long time. She was not only a performer, she was also someone who had lived through emotional challenges while still standing in front of the world. In the end, her story shows a journey from silence to understanding. It shows how a person can look strong outside while struggling inside. It shows how family, work, pressure, and expectations can shape a life in deep ways. What do you think about the silent pain of Marie Osmond? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for following this journey into Marie Osmond's life. If this story changes how you see success, pressure, and hidden pain behind public life, don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video to explore more stories. See you there.